happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel, and today it is episode 4 of What's on the Pegs. If it's your first time checking out this show, I do appreciate you checking it out, and I'd also appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. Check it out. We got new videos every week, including unboxing videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from all your favorite toy lines of past and present. As you've seen, I've been diving into some vintage toys recently, so a lot more of that to come. But What's on the Pegs will debut every Saturday afternoon, and it's literally going to be what I'm finding that week out on the pegs. You know, whether it's a vintage toy store, whether it's a Walmart or a Target, or maybe something new in between. Who knows? Always cool to see what's out there, and always a lot of fun. I'm always checking out new stores, even stores that maybe don't have a lot of stuff. There's usually something cool I can talk about in my journey. So, no different here as I checked out a vintage toy store. And check this guy's collection of NECA figures out. Lots of NECA horror. I kind of am hot and cold on NECA horror, where I'll dive into a bunch of them. Then I'm like, I think I'm good. You know, part of me is like, I need all the NECA Universal monsters, right? And you see a bunch of them there with obviously the Wolfman, the Creature, the Mummy, etc. But then it's like, I gotta get the classics: Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, Chucky. Even would be cool. So I'll get all those, but it's one of those things. It's such a slippery slope, and where does it stop? It's hard to dive into. But there's a lot of cool stuff here, so I am a little hot and cold on NECA at times. But a few of these I would like to pick up. I do have Creature from the Black Lagoon. I do have Wolfman. I do have Michael Myers. All those will be coming up eventually on the channel. I don't think I found the Mummy yet. I do need to get him. So, but again, there's several releases in this, so it's easy to find what you need, which does help. But yeah, eventually I'll be diving into more of these for sure. This is an interesting find, just because I was like, wow, I never would have expected to see these again. And that is the WCW cars. Do you guys remember these? The one interesting thing about these is they made everybody. I mean, if you look at these pictures, the British Bulldog, his WCW run was nothing to write home about. There's Steve Mongo McMichael, rest in peace. We just lost him recently. Up in the right-hand corner, there's Glacier. Are you kidding me? That's the only piece of Glacier merchandise WCW ever made. I've never been a car guy, never really been a Hot Wheels guy. There's Chris Jericho again. Not a lot of stuff WCW did with him, really. But Harlem... no, it's Public Enemy. Wow, that's really cool. They made so many of these, and I think that would have been what would be so fun about this collection, if I can get my words together. That they made everybody. And that was, to me, the coolest thing about these. Again, never bought them, and some of these, if you kind of zoom in on the prices, you know, Neidhart's $4.99, Bulldogs $5.99. They're not crazy expensive, really, but it's just something about it. It's like, yeah, that would be kind of cool to get those. So who knows? Maybe we'll be diving into those at some point. Every now and then I'll get an ad for a Hot Wheels. I saw one the other day. It was the Mutt Cuts van from Dumb and Dumber, and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. Do I see myself getting it? No, probably not, but it's something fun about seeing stuff like that, you know, those classic cars from movies and stuff, so definitely fun stuff. Classic Dick Tracy. We got Sam Ketchum, we got Influence. You know, $14.99, $17.99. Not crazy expensive for mint on card figures. That's what I do like about vintage figures. I love these Dick Tracy figures as a kid. There was something about this line that was just so fun. They were, of course, from Playmates. I've never compared them, but I've always heard they're actually in a very similar scale to your Playmates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures, which I think is really cool. I did have Dick Tracy as a kid. I don't think I had any others, though, but he was like the main one you wanted to get, of course. Of course, they've all got a couple of weapons, not a crazy amount, but looks like about 3, which is cool. Overall, a really fun line. I've heard Dick Tracy's going into the public domain very soon, like within a couple of years. So I'd love some more companies to dive into Dick Tracy figures. My friend Travis, good friend of, obviously from the podcast, had mentioned that he always felt like these were probably supposed to have soft good coats, and they just didn't want to spend the money or didn't have the time to get it done. And it really does make sense, because Dick Tracy he didn't have his signature yellow coat. And if there was one guy that should have, it would have been him in the line. I mean, he's the name of the line, but it never happened. Still fun, though. Still cool figures. And it is fun to see these on the pegs 30, almost 40 years later. Very, very cool stuff. Let's see what else we got here. Some Target legends. We got Kurt Angle. We got Rosie. Not pictured. I believe Carlito and The Godfather were also in this line. For this line, and then of course we got a top pick Stone Cold, which is pretty cool, and the new Ultimate Hollywood Hulk Hogan from his 02 run, which is fun. And of course the Sting, Target exclusive over there as well. I passed on the Kurt Angle. I passed on the Carlito because I have the more recent Elite Carlito. I haven't picked up Rosie yet, but I do plan to. I did buy the Godfather because I don't have a Godfather, and that's a good one for the collection. I'm still hoping to find that Chase Rosie, where he was the superhero in training. And that what's cool about that is there's two heads, so you can swap the head to the correct attire, which is a pretty fun idea. Cool to have Rosie in the line for that, definitely. Micronauts from Super 7 Reaction. I don't know a lot about Micronauts, but Transformers-esque, a little bit of a cheaper price point. Interesting, obviously. I can't say this is something I need, but it is cool. It is cool to see new stuff on the pegs. It's always fun to see new stuff on the pegs, so I don't know. Got to vote with your wallet. Maybe this is something you're into. Did you enjoy the old Micronauts line? Was that something that you were into? Again, everything is kind of based upon what we enjoy nowadays, right? So, but definitely cool to see for sure. And then, of course, I took a picture of this. The Arctic Cobra Commander from the G.I. Joe Real American Hero Reaction Plus line. These are O-Ring. I mean, this is classic G.I. Joe. This line doesn't seem to be catching a lot of steam, but man, I really think this is cool. Timing is everything, I do know that, but classic G.I. Joe O-Ring, that's what we all grew up with. So, I haven't bought any of these. I haven't opened them, so I can't say, is the quality the same? I don't know. Of course, there's Marge and Maggie there over on the side, but I think this is a cool idea. This is not something I'm picking up, but I think it's fun. I know Super 7 has kind of announced some price increases with everything happening in the world, so I can't really fault people who jump out because maybe the price got too expensive. I don't know. I think these are around 20, 22 maybe. A little expensive for what you're getting, but still fun, and it's cool to see on the pegs again. I love that classic artwork. That will always be fun to me. So I was at another shop that sells a lot of vintage stuff, but they do carry new stuff. And this is the first time I've seen this in stores, and I love this 2-pack. It is a Fantastic Four, Marvel Legends, Wolverine, and Spider-Man 2-pack. So I'll explain how my crazy brain works. I collect, excuse the huge glare on the packaging there, though the way the lights were, I couldn't get a good shot of it. But the way I do my Marvel Legends is I collect in 3 separate series, basically. I do X-Men, I do Spider-Man, and I do Marvel Universe, which is basically everything else. But to me, these would go in my Marvel Universe collection because they're a part of the Fantastic Four. I love variants, especially for the Marvel figures. If you give me, a purple suit Deadpool, which I have, I think that's awesome. Or X-Force Deadpool, where he's in the gray. Or even the X-Men Deadpool, obviously all Deadpool versions, but any different version of Spider-Man I think is always fun. So this is one I definitely want to get. I haven't picked this up yet. I do plan to go back and get it because I'm like, man, that is really, really cool. It's Wolverine, it's Spider-Man. They're in the Fantastic Four colors. Come on. How could you not like that? Such a fun 2-pack. These are obviously the new Marvel Legends wave from it's like the comic inspired wave. I guess there's still just Marvel Legends, but they all come with a mini comic. We got Rom the Space Knight. A lot of people going crazy for that one because it's kind of an obscure character. And I think that's cool to get the obscure characters in the line. I remember, was it Crystar we got maybe a year or two ago? And of course, a comic version of Adam Warlock is really cool. Fun figures. I love the packaging. Marvel Legends, I think, is kind of doing some rebranding where we're not seeing as much as the Build-A-Figures. We still see them here and there, but more like this, where it's kind of a retro-carded style without it being X-Men or Marvel Universe. This is like, okay, well, how do we get Rom the Space Knight in that line? We'll do this. And I think it's kind of cool. The mini comic is different. May not be for everybody, but again, if you want to get these guys as action figures, this is the perfect way to do it. So I definitely plan to pick up both of those at some point. That's the words of anyone, right? At some point, just because there's so much. I also want to get a shot at this. Oh, I hate that they put the sticker on his face. What are you doing? The new X Factor Cyclops figure. $28.99, so we're seeing prices starting to go up a little bit. Never fun, but it is what it is. But I love that costume for Cyclops. I love the 2 heads with the open mouth, of course, and the optic blast accessory, so you can kind of do the figure photography. This, of course, is a Build-A-Figure X-Men wave, where you can build Nemesis, which is pretty cool. This whole line's really cool. There's a couple of figures I'm not super familiar with, but we're getting a lot of first-time Marvel Legends, and I'm all about that, so I think that's cool. Definitely one I want to pick up. I love that costume. Such a perfect version of Cyclops for me. And I had to get a picture of these. The Thundercats figures from, I don't remember what year. I want to say 2010, 2011, but you got Lion-O and Panthro here. Didn't collect them. Wasn't a Thundercats fan at the time. Obviously, a much different version. This is almost like 2000X He-Man, where it's like they tried to rebrand and make it different. I don't think it totally worked, but it is cool. And it is different. $25 for these, not crazy expensive, but still cool to see. This something you guys plan to pick up? Probably not for me, but it is fun. I also had to get a picture of this Cops set. I believe this is from Fresh Monkey Fiction. 5 little minifigures, $20. Can't beat that. That's a good deal. And we keep hearing that Fresh Monkey Fiction is going to do a 6-inch scale Cops line. They announced it like last summer, so we're basically a year with nothing yet. Good friend of the show, Kyle Peterson, has talked about it a few times. Still don't know anything. Hopefully it's coming. Would definitely be in on those, and would definitely be unboxing them on this very channel if they happen sometime soon, because I would be all about that. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not a line of figures that I really think about a lot, but I liked Buffy. I didn't get into it until it was actually off the air. I found it through the DVDs, which is archaic now, but at the time was kind of cool. And I bought like the first season on sale at Walmart. $12, sure, I'll buy a whole season of shows. Oh my gosh, this show is amazing. I got to watch all of them, and that's pretty much what happened. And now, seeing these kind of retro style figures, which were more collectibles than action figures, I would say, but very cool and cool to see. $30, $15 for Willow, not crazy expensive, but not bad either. DC Universe Classics, of course, the awesome line from Mattel. I always like these figures. I've talked about them before. I've shared pictures of them on my Instagram for TB Toycast. Really, really fun. This is, of course, Green Lantern from Wave 3. All of them had a Build-A-Figure, which was always cool. Mattel's got DC back, so I kind of wonder if we're going to see this again or something like this, or if they're going to go a different direction. I know when they did DC Multiverse, it really didn't hit like DC Universe Classics to me. Like, some of them were okay, but for the most part, I felt like a lot of them were disappointing. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll see something in the future, but who knows? $30 for this, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. And we'll round it out here with some classic Marvel Legends from Toy Biz. We got Red Skull from Wave 5, and from the Giant Man series, we got Sentry. Of course, Sentry is featured in that new Thunderbolts movie, which is really cool. I always thought the Sentry was awesome. I remember reading a New Avengers comic, and he was in it, and I just thought it was such a cool character. So I'm glad he's in the MCU now. And I'll be honest, I'm digging the Toy Biz Marvel Legends again. I picked up a couple recently, so they will be unboxed on the channel at some point. Love that they come with a comic book, and I think the early waves had a display stand. I think they got rid of that when they started doing the Build-A-Figures, but still really, really cool. Like I said, just such a fun line. Way ahead of its time, and definitely one that I would love to see kind of revisited somehow. I don't know if that's possible. I know Hasbro did the first wave, kind of like a tribute wave with Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, and Toad. I do have Toad actually, but not the rest of them. But who knows? Something like Toy Biz, they did such good work back in the day. It's crazy that they're not even around anymore. So I don't know. I'd love to see a return of that in some way, shape, or form. At least maybe some stylized packaging like this. Who knows? But that's it. That's all I'm finding this week on the pegs. I'm always on the hunt. In fact, as I record this, I'm probably going to go out today and check out some stores. So I do have the day off. So I'm able to, A, make some videos. 2, check out some stores. So that always helps. But drop your comments down below. What are you finding? What are you looking for? Always fun stuff out there. Of course, a lot of things happening in the world. So people, I initially thought, oh, we're going to see empty shelves. Hopefully that's not the case. But again, we'll just take it as it comes, right? That it is what it is. And that's where I think sometimes the vintage stores might pick up steam in that regard. Because if your Walmarts and Targets don't have toys, those vintage stores definitely will. Maybe not new stuff, but they will have stuff that's fun. So definitely check those out as well. But thank you guys for checking out the TV Toycast YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Check out some of my unboxing videos, new unboxing videos every single week, usually 3 a week. Plus once a month, Tales of the Toy Box as well. 2 episodes of that in the archives. Check those out as well. And of course, check out the TV Toycast podcast every Thursday with me and Travis. We have a different main event from something in the past usually. And we talk all the news and current happenings in the toy world. So check that out as well. Thank you guys for checking out What's on the Pegs. And we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shop.